I noticed, Zach. I appreciate the sub. Good stuff. Subbing in them channel. Yeah, so there is a test due tonight if you haven't finished yet. I'm not sure what Weaver's going to do about it. You'll have to ask him. He must have forgotten to publish it before he left on Thursday for the weekend. So, yeah, that'll be something that Weaver will have to deal with. Yeah, he didn't get it posted for his class. So somebody else emailed me about it. So I'll post a picture. I'll post the image for number 2 in the Discord. Just give me a second. Because I can't post images in the Twitch chat. Actually, no, I can post a link to it. Give me a second. That should work. Yeah, the test that was due last night. A lot of people finished it early, but a couple people just didn't get to it for some reason. So you still have tonight to get it turned in. So make sure that you access it tonight. Now we're talking about doggos. Hunter apparently dyed her pink. I'm a 2-month sub to myself. Yeah. Yeah, there was 1 or 2 perfect scores, Sadie. I'm gonna look at that this afternoon and upload them into Skyward. There aren't any penalties for doing it today. Cooper's free to let you know that he got a perfect score. Let's see. Good, I'm glad, Fallon. Good. I'm glad you guys did okay. Glad you guys did okay. Yeah, Johnny, it was open notes on the test. You could use your notes. I was totally fine with you guys using your notes. So, yep, totally fine if you use your notes. Is 0 out of 0 100%, or is it 0? Dyeing more dye. Dyeing Kate's hair pink. So I say Kate's hair should be easy to go pink because blonde is a lot easier to dye than Hunter's. Hunter, your hair was pretty dark, wasn't it? Oh, now we're talking about 0 divided by 0. That's a fun one. Well, it's been a long time. I know hair color is one of those things that just starts to fade. Do my streams count as notes? I guess. I mean, we take notes on the streams. Isn't it illegal to divide by 0? Izzy, you have red hair. You are a fiery redhead. Wasn't racist? If I had mentioned something about like Irish heritage, then that'd be racist. Weaver, you didn't publish the test. Weaver with the whoops in the chat. It's okay. He'll give you you can push it to what, like tomorrow night, Wednesday night, something like that. Whatever is reasonable. Gosh. Yeah, so Weaver's class will probably have an extra day or two. I'll let him decide on what he wants to do about that. Some people do. I got a couple of emails yesterday that I shouldn't have replied to, but I did anyway. Pow, pow, pow. All right. 6 hours of yard work. That is a lot of yard work. I need to do that much yard work. My yard is rough. I need to mow it today. We need to replace our fence. Really, Izzy? None of your other teachers changed their grading scale yet? Those bums. I'm gonna yell at all the science teachers tomorrow to make sure they did it, and then on Wednesday we have our meeting with the principal that I'm sure will go at. Force me to go to Vernal. Oh, extra 6 hours of driving practice? That's really funny. Hey, it's good to have driving practice. Your sisters need to know how to drive. Musicals are quality. Some of them are. Which musicals, Cooper? Yeah, so your teachers should get on that this week if they haven't already. Hunter, they haven't made an announcement about collecting stuff from lockers. I'm sure it'll be at some point. We'll find out about that later this week, I think. That's not bad, Jake. That's pretty fast on a dirt bike. Driving a stick. That's fun. That's a skill that I don't have. I know how to do it in practice, but not in actually doing it. Have the lockers been oh, I guess they have been if they were on this side. If they were on the part that's getting demolished. Have they emptied all the lockers, Weaver? I know that they did the gym lockers and stuff. Yeah. Yeah, I think the part that's getting demolished got cleared and the gym lockers got cleared. Yeah, I don't know. I would call in whoever asked that question. I can't remember. I would call into the front office and see what they say about lockers. Well, I mean, it's all getting demolished in a week or two, Tyler. Yeah, Mondays. Ah. We haven't even started notes yet. Chill out. Where would school be now if everything is getting demolished? So they pushed up the demolition timeline because school was dismissed for the rest of the year. So they would have had to do a lot more over the summer, but they decided that they could accelerate things because the school is empty. So the new buildings should be done. So what will happen next year is half the school will be in the new buildings and half of school will be in the old building. Oh my gosh, last week was insane. Yeah, last week was crazy. I'm gonna swing by the school probably tomorrow. So, all right. Factor label, dimensional analysis. I have it's a HyperX Cloud 2. Is the name of the headset. I like the Cloud 2s. They're really nice. They're a good budget headset. They just weren't allowing students into the building, Tyler. So there's classes over there too, Faye. There's a ton of classes over there. There's a ton of classrooms and stuff. It's like the choir and auditorium are here, but then this wing over here has a ton. It's like 4 stories of classes. So there is a lot of it is auditorium, but there's like 16 classrooms over there or something. So I had a set of Razer headphones and they just died on me, and so I kind of shy away from Razer headphones. I just don't love them. Yeah, so they haven't made an official announcement about textbooks. That'll probably come out this week, Cooper. You'll see something. They're probably going to do just like a drive-by drop-off thing. Yeah, I really like my HyperX stuff that I've gotten. So, all right, I like my Razer mouse. I have a Death Adder that I really love. Yeah, so like I said, they haven't made an official announcement about library books yet. They're probably going to do that this week. Let's get started though. We've kind of wasted enough time. Naga. That's fine. Okay. Oh, I've got a big fancy mouse pad. I have one of the desktop mouse pads. It's really nice. Okay, let's get into this factor label dimensional analysis. So what we're going to do is we're kind of going to shift gears a little bit. Instead of talking about like reactions and how things react with each other, we're going to start to talk about more quantitative things. So we're going to get into the math of chemistry, and we're going to do some stuff first to kind of lay the foundation for it that's not going to feel like chemistry, but it's going to give us the math skills we need to do the chemistry that we're going to do. So let's dive into it. I'm going to adjust my camera a little bit here. I moved my chemicals. Hey, thanks for the cheer. I moved my chemicals, but I didn't grab any because we're not going to need them for this. I might swing by the school and grab some stuff over for the next couple weeks. All right, so factor label, dimensional analysis. So let's talk about, let's do some examples first. All right. I love Ms. Bain. This is the last unit, yeah. All right. So let's just do a really simple example. 3 weeks. Here's the calendar. It's on my intro slide. Okay. Yeah, this is chemistry. Sorry, Fluffingtons. Definitely chemistry, not biology. Okay. I'm glad you made more bread, Izzy. All right. So let's talk about just a really simple question. If I'm going to drive to, I don't know, where should I drive? Where should I drive? Someone said, first, you can't drive to Hawaii, Trinity. Tyler says California, so let's say San Diego. If I'm going to drive to San Diego, how far away is San Diego? Let's see. San Diego is, from Salt Lake to San Diego is 750 miles. Okay, so if I'm going to drive to San Diego, a difference of 750 miles. How fast should we drive? $80. If I'm going to drive to San Diego, distance 700 miles, and I average. Let's say, since we're going to stop every now and then, let's say that we average 70 miles an hour. Well, actually, that might be too easy. Let's do 80, and I average. We'll go a little faster. 80 miles per hour. How long will it take? Now, this is going to be a gross exaggeration because there's no way you could average 80 miles an hour for 750 miles unless you were going very, 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 very fast. All right, so here's the question. Okay. Now, this is a very simple problem, right? You only have to do one mathematical operation. And it looks like Dave's already said here that he's calculated 9 and a little hours, right? And the way he got that is by dividing these two numbers. Okay, the question is, why do we divide on this problem, right? Why do we divide? Why don't we multiply the two numbers? How'd you even know that you were supposed to divide the numbers, right? Yes, thank you. I know you guys are all getting it. Yeah, this is great, but I want to take more of a fundamental perspective of why, right? You guys all knew that you had to divide these two numbers, but why? Math is math. Okay, so let me try to show you a way that really works to show how you can use the units to figure things out, right? Let me show you. Okay, so I'm going to show you a method for solving these problems. My method is you always want to put your answer first. So my answer to this question is some amount. I'm going to make it a blank. So blank number of hours, right? So the question is, right, I want to know how many hours does it take to do what? How many hours are equal to 750 miles? Because that's really what we're asking in the question, is we're asking, how many hours does it take to go 750 miles, right? They're equal to each other because this 750-mile trip is equal to some amount of time. Right? It's going to take us some amount of time to go 750 miles. And we have what I like to call a conversion. It's a relationship between miles and hours, right? That is here. Okay, miles per hour. Now, what does 80 miles per hour actually mean? Can't say that, Cooper. What does miles per hour actually mean? It means that if we wanted to go 80 miles, that would be equal to 1 hour. Right? Means every hour you go 80 miles. Every 80 miles is equal to an hour. So what we can do, if 80 miles is equal to an hour, then I can multiply this, and I can say that for every 80 miles, it's going to take 1 hour. Okay. The reason why I can do this, let me make sure you guys are fine with this. I'm not breaking math, I promise. If 80 miles equals 1 hour, and we divide both sides by 80 miles, right? What happens to the left side of this expression? Exactly, Cooper, sorry. It becomes 1, it equals 1, and not just 1, it equals 1 exactly, right? So this 1 hour over 80 miles is just an expression of 1. And so if I take a number and multiply it by 1, is that a fine thing to do mathematically? Can't you always multiply a number by 1? Isn't that fine in math? Yeah, it's totally fine. Okay, so then this expression, this multiplication, I'm not changing this number. I'm just making it so the units work out, and so that instead of miles, we have hours. So we can think about units as almost as if they are variables. Okay, this miles has some innate quantity to it that we need to take care of and consider in our problem, and we have to eliminate. And so if you have a variable on top and a variable on bottom, those cancel out. And so if we take the 750 miles, right, we divide it by 80 miles, we're left with hours. And so 750 divided by 80, which most of you said was like 9.3 or something. I don't actually care about the answer. I'm worried about the system. So 750 divided by 80, 9.4-ish. We'll round. Okay, do you guys understand this method? We're going to do another example. Okay, let's do another one. If hey, 2K electrons. I just made division hard. No, so the thing is, yeah, for like a one-step problem like this, Seth, it seems overly complex. But what is going to happen after this example, we'll do a third example where the problem has a lot more steps to it, and this method will make that a whole lot easier. So, okay, so let's do this example. If there are approximately 1.2 desks per student at Brighton, and there are, 2,100 students, how many desks? I love how you guys are flexing about your valence electrons. The real question is anyone going to get to 10,000? All right, so here's a problem. If there are approximately 1.2 desks per student at Brighton and there are 2,100 students, how many desks are there? And so you just divide, right? You just divide the two numbers, just like we did last time. Wait, you didn't divide. You multiplied. Why did you multiply this time, but we divided last time? No one has any clue. All right, so let's set up the problem the same way we did last time, okay? The question is, how many desks are there? So we're going to do blank desks, right? How many desks? Now, how many desks are equal to... Now, we want to make sure we don't want to use this 1.2 desks per student because that's a ratio. That's a multiplying factor. That's something that we're going to use in our conversion. But really, the question is, how many desks are there if there's 2,100 students? So how many desks are equal to 2,100 students? Okay. Now, for here, we have 1.2 desks per student. That means that one student equals 1.2 desks, right? So if one student equals 1.2 desks, what we do is on here, we want students to cancel. So we want students to be on the bottom. And so we want one student equal to 1.2 desks. Okay. Again, we always want this unit to cancel. So whatever unit is here needs to go there. And so that way students cancel, we get left with desks, and mathematically we take 2100 times 1.2 divided by 1, right? And so we get 2520. Yeah, so we're starting out simple. I'm going to do a more complicated example here. Okay, so again, Fallon, I'm going to give you a new problem right now, and let's see how many different answers we get. Okay, number 3. Tito's Taco Shop sells 3 tacos in an order. If they use, let's say 0. We'll say 0.5 pounds of steak per taco, and they sell they're pretty good, and they sell, let's say they sell we'll say 125 orders a day. If a 5-pound bag of carne asada costs, let's see, how much does it want to make it cost? If a 5-pound bag of carne asada costs, carne asada is pretty good, we'll say it costs $20. They're getting a good deal on it. $25. How much do they spend on meat, on steak per year? Okay, there you go. All of you said that was easy. Let's see you do it. Now, I will encourage you that if you set up the problem using this method, the problem is straightforward, because one unit will lead into the next unit, which leads into the next unit, which leads into the next unit, right? So use your units to cancel and move through the problem. All right, so we've got $1,370, $570,000. So we have, that's 13,000 from Tyler, 570,000 from Izzy. What else we got? .5. Oh, shoot. That's way too much meat per taco. That's a massive taco. I probably should have done like 0.1 pound. I should have done like 0.5 pounds per order, but that's okay. All right, well, now we have 342,000, 114,000. We're getting some, I probably should have said like burritos, and these are like a family platter, but that's okay. thick taco. You guys can say thick. That's fine with me. It's like Cafe Rio burrito. Not even that. Cafe Rio burritos are like skimp you on the meat. This is way too much meat, but that's okay. That's what I get for trying to make up a problem off the top of my head. All right, so you'll notice, okay, we have all kinds of different answers, right? Whereas with the simple problems, you guys, almost everybody got them immediately. But with this one, it seems like we've got 4 or 5 answers that are all over the place because I think people are missing 1 or 2 of the factors in the conversion, right? So let's set up the problem and show it how we would do it. So we want to know how much they spend per year. So I want to know how many dollars, dollar bills. Now it's how much money they spend when. How much money do they spend in a year, right? So how much money is in 1 year? Now, this is a measurement of time. So what do I know about time? I know that they sell 125 orders per day. So the first thing I'm going to do is say, well, I know that a year has 365 days. Okay. The next thing I know, I just said that in 1 day, they sell 125 orders. Now, 1 order has 3 tacos, right? 1 taco has 0.5 pounds, which again, we've established is way too much. And then 5 pounds is worth $25. Okay? And so at this point, the problem's totally set up. Notice, years cancel with years, days cancel with days, orders cancel with orders, tacos cancel with tacos, pounds cancel with pounds. We're left with dollars, which is what we wanted. Right? So you'll see how this method allows us to show in a very concise way, right? So Cooper did write it out correctly, but the way that what Cooper wrote in word form can be expressed mathematically here. Right? So most of you are realizing that you forgot something somewhere. So $342,000. They better be charging a massive amount for these tacos. So approximately $342,000. So what do you mean, where do you go from that? Oh, yeah, sorry. So mathematically, right, you would take 1 times 365 times 125 times 3 times 0.5 times 25, and technically you would be divided by 1, divided by 1, divided by 1, divided by 1, divided by 5, right? So there's 2 ways you can do it. You could combine this all into a single fraction, so you could multiply all the top numbers, multiply all the bottom numbers, and get one little conversion. Or you can multiply and divide as you go. Multiply, divide, multiply, divide, multiply, divide, multiply, divide, multiply, divide. Wait, how did the second ingredient play into the yearly price of steak? What, Enya? Oh, carne asada is steak. Sorry. Carne asada and steak are the same thing, more or less. If you get in fancy steak. I guess there's some Mexican restaurants that claim they have steak, but it's not really steak. I'm so sorry, Enya. Yeah, carne asada is steak. Sorry, I should have made that clearer. Yeah, that would make the problem make no sense. That would be like those. Have you seen those like math memes that are like how many aliens for 5 watermelons or something weird like that? Yeah, it literally translates into grilled meat. Weaver's got the Spanish. Why would you have gotten half my answer? I don't know, Valen. Oh, did you not multiply by this 0.5? Or did you multiply by the 0.5 twice? Okay, cool. Let's look at what you're going to be doing for your assignment. Okay, so here's our lovely chemistry canvas, right? If you notice, I do have the updated calendar for May, right? So if you haven't checked out that, make sure you check out the updated calendar for May. I guess we should talk about that a little bit. So basically, we're going to kind of do the same thing. We're doing lessons on Mondays and Fridays, homework help on Wednesdays, homework due on Thursdays. So we have 3 more homework assignments and a test, right? So if you haven't finished the Chapter 10 test, make sure you do that tonight. And then we're going to do 3 more assignments and a test that'll work it out. We have this assignment due on Thursday, which is a factor label. The reason why we're not doing anything this last week, or I guess the second to last week, is the administration told us that we needed to be done teaching stuff on the 15th. So this last week, if you're missing anything or need to get caught up or need extra help, this is when you can do that. But it's going to be really difficult if you don't stay caught up on everything as much as you can. So stay caught up on everything so that way you can actually be done by the 15th. That's what this little note says. But it's the second trimester of chemistry, Cooper. It's the second half of chemistry. Izzy, if you are completely caught up on everything, your teachers should not be giving you new assignments these last 2 weeks. Yep. So no, we'll be streaming on the 15th. Yeah, the 15th is the last date to do stuff. So we will be doing stuff on the 15th, but we won't be streaming on the 18th, 20th, 22nd. We have 3 weeks, Xander. I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, you mean because today's only Monday and it's only 9 a.m.? All right, I didn't know it was Monday. Yeah, a lot of you have AP tests these weeks. So, what is that word on the 4th that are? Oh, stoichiometry. Stoichiometry. We'll be talking all about stoichiometry. That's using this stuff and kind of applying it to chemistry and chemical reactions. So let's go to the assignment. All right. So on the canvas, we go to our modules. We've already done all the Chapter 10 stuff, so that should all be done. And then now we are on to Chapter 2. So you'll notice here's our lovely factor label assignment. I'll be putting up the grading key at some point, but we just click factor label assignment. We get our worksheet. Let's choose the PDF. They're the same. It's just one's a PDF, one's a doc. All right. And here we go. So you'll notice, okay, the problems say, yeah, we skipped Chapter 2. So now we're going back to it. Stoiced. Yeah, I'm super stoiced. All right, so it says to read page 34 and 35 in your textbook. That might help if you still need a little more examples of this. Then I want you to show your work on a separate sheet of paper. Now, your work should look like my work. Okay. If your work doesn't look like this, or like this, or like this, I'm not going to give you any points. So you're going to get half credit. Even if you get every single problem right, if you do not have work that looks like this, you will get half credit. So there's that. Izzy, only because of this unit and this specific way. It's really because of getting people ready for AP, and because understanding this and how this works is so essential for everything we're going to be doing over the next 3 weeks that, yeah, I'm going to be one of those teachers on this stuff. So, sorry. So in the past, well, and another reason is in the past I've let people do it their own way, but then those people always fall behind and they just can't figure it out. So yeah, that's why I'm a little strict about doing it this way. Okay, so here's the assignment, right? Notice it's 18 questions. 18 questions that say really similar to some of the examples we did. My car gets 13 miles per gallon. In a trip, we traveled 560 miles. How many gallons did it take? Okay. And they are mathematical proofs. Yeah, the Big Burger Palace. Number 8, at the Big Burger Palace, they sell palace burgers. Each burger has 2 patties. Each patty weighs 0.25 pounds. There's only 1 pound of fat in every 9 pounds of burger. Big Jake eats 5 pounds. That's why it's called Big Jake. How much fat does Big Jake eat? This will matter to chemistry on Friday. So it'll be for the assignment that's due next week. So this assignment that's due on Thursday is not going to feel like chemistry, but we're going to relate it and pull it back into chemistry on Friday and for the assignment that's due next week. So I figured that you guys had enough math experience that we could do this assignment just based off of one day. And kind of that's the plan. So I like number 13. It's one of my favorites. Babies are expensive, even if you just consider diapers alone. A newborn baby in their first year of life will go through on average about 6 diapers a day. If a box of 128 diapers from Costco is $30, how much will you end up spending in a year? Okay. Oh, this got like weird. So this should say 8 reams equals 1 case. It got shifted weird when I changed some of the margins. Sorry, guys. No, so Cooper, newborns actually go through a lot of diapers. That's just kind of the way. And newborns, you have to change even if they just pee in them. So, yeah, and newborn babies poop a lot. Oh my gosh, Tyler copied it. Nice copy pasta of the B-movie script. Weaver knows. Weaver has a relatively new baby. Not only that, the bigger the diapers, the more expensive they get. So as they grow, it's weird. As babies grow up, they don't use diapers as much. They don't go through as many diapers, but the diapers get more expensive. Okay. Just leave him in the tub, Tyler. Just leave him in the tub. Okay. Stop writing the script to Thresh to freaking Shrek. All right, so we have Tyler posting B-movie script, and we have Zach posting the Shrek script. So I'm going to time you guys out soon. We actually don't have much more to do. I'm going to do maybe one of these problems as an example real fast. Let's do... I don't know. Let's do problem 6. A lot of people struggle with problem 6. So I'm going to do problem 6 as an example. And then we're going to be done after this. So in problem 6, we have a lot of ratios they give us. They say 5 slices is equal to 2 eggs. They tell us 30 slices equals a loaf. They tell us 25 dozen in a day. And then they want to know how many loaves for 5 days. Okay, I know, Izzy, I know. I'm just copying down the information from the problem, and then we'll go over to it. So I'm going chill. Okay. So I think that might be right, Tyler. But so 5 slices is 2 eggs. 30 slices is 1 loaf. They use 25 dozen every day. How many loaves do they need for 5 days? So that was all the information in the problem. So these are all our relationships, all our conversions. And so we'd set it up and we say, okay, blank loaves, that's what we're trying to find. How many loaves of bread do they need for 5 days? Okay. What a lot of you might find is that the hardest part of these problems is going to be setting it up. So you want to look usually towards the end of the problem, or maybe at the beginning of the problem, they ask a question. So in this problem, they ask the question at the end, how many loaves are needed for 5 days? That's kind of weird, Tyler. Here, I'm going to show you how I incorporate the dozen. Okay. So that's our question, right? How many loaves is equal to 5 days? And then we want to say, okay, what do we know about a day? Now, this is tricky because we know that there are 7 days in a week. That doesn't help us. We know there's 365 days in a year. That doesn't help us, right? In the problem, we know that a day they use 25 dozen eggs. And so that's actually relevant to the problem. So you got to be careful because sometimes you'll know more conversions, but only one conversion gets you closer to the answer, right? So we know that one day uses 25, we've got to be careful here, this is dozen eggs. 25 dozen eggs. All right. And we know that 2 eggs go on 5 slices of bread, but those are individual eggs, right? So the first thing, before I use this conversion, the first thing I have to do is I have to know something about a dozen, right? Everybody should know that a dozen is 12. So we know that 1 dozen eggs, I'm running out of room, so I'm going to abbreviate, is 12 eggs. Okay. So, Enya, I want to discourage doing any math before you have the problem set up. Because, yeah, you could shortcut it and say that one day they use 300 eggs, but then in order to get that, you had to multiply 25 by 12. And the problem didn't tell you that they use 300 eggs per day. The problem told you they use 25 dozen per day. So that one I'm not going to be super picky about, but I would encourage you to show what the problem actually has and show all the units as they are in the problem. So 1 dozen eggs, 12 eggs. 2 eggs, 5 slices, right? And I've ran out of room, so 30 slices, 1 loaf. Okay. Now notice that my units cancel. It is just a regular dozen. So days cancel with days, dozen eggs cancel with dozen eggs, regular eggs cancel with regular eggs, slices cancel with slices, and we're left with loaf, which is what we wanted. We wanted loaves. No, it's not a baker's dozen. So then we just do mathematically. We take 5 times 25 divided by 1, which we could technically skip that step, times 12 divided by 1, again, we could skip that step, times 5. Now we do have to remember to divide by 2 times 1 divided by 30. And you get 125. So they need 125 loaves for 5 days. Okay. So do you guys see how these problems work, right? Find your conversions in the problem and then lay it out, units change into units. So you need to know something about days. So you turn days into dozen. You need to know something about dozens. So you turn dozen into eggs. You need something about eggs. So you turn eggs into slicers. You need something about slices. So you turn that. Yeah. So another way to do it, Sadie, instead of multiplying, dividing, you could just multiply all the tops and multiply all the bottoms. So what would that be? 5 times 25 times 12 times 5. You'd get 7,500 divided by 60. Yeah. So you can set up the problem like that too. If that makes more sense to you mathematically, that's totally fine to do. So the biggest thing I want to see, the one thing I'm going to be looking for, is that these cancel out, right? I want to see that your units are canceling. So you have to show the units, and you have to show the logical progression from the starting point to the ending point. We're going to do, like I said, we're going to do more of this on Wednesday. We're going to spend all of Wednesday going through it. But before Wednesday, I want you guys to really give this a good effort today and tomorrow so that you can be ready for a good discussion on Wednesday as we work through some of these problems. What kind of bread, Cooper? Just like homemade white bread? Best French toast is going to be if you use like a brioche or a like a challah. Oh. Yeah, I like an enriched dough if you're going to do French toast. So one of each unit in the numerator and the other in the denominator, but it doesn't have to be in the same fraction. I'm not sure if I understand. Yeah, I'll go back to number 3 while I think through that question, Lauren. Whoops. Oh my gosh, stop spelling bagel weird. So one of each unit in the numerator and the other in the denominator, but it doesn't have to be in the same fraction. Right. I think I understand it. So the units have to lead into other units. So you always have to make sure that your units cancel. So years cancel with years, days cancel with days, orders cancel with orders, tacos cancel with tacos, pounds cancel with pounds, and you're left with dollars. Lauren, it actually doesn't matter. You can round to whatever makes sense. I usually use at least like 3 digits. So usually at least 3 digits. If you don't round the way, I'm gonna plug in Canvas so where it'll actually like count your answer plus or minus a little bit. So you can you can round. I wouldn't round too much, but you should be fine. It should be. You should do the last E as a 3, Drake. Nice, Cooper. All right, we're done for today. You guys enjoy the rest of your Monday. Another 3 weeks, and then it's summer, right? We can do this. 3 weeks. Weaver says 5th grade test is open. Read the instructions before taking the quiz to see when he has changed the due date to. So if you're in Weaver's class, make sure you do it. I have no idea why everyone's saying bagel. I blame Drake. That's fine, Lauren. Yeah, you can. That's probably an okay rounding. You won't. Your answer won't be off. Okay. Have a good rest of the day, guys. He said it was in the instructions, Tyler. So just open it on Canvas and it'll say when it's due.